Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's continuation class of ADO.NET. In previous class, we have learned about the providers and the components present in ADO.NET and how they are helpful and how they are helpful in adding the database to the client application. Let's actually see this through a program. Let's go to Visual Studio. Okay. In Visual Studio, go to New Project, Web Application. I'm selecting a web application, an empty web application. And this test connection. Instead of connection, I'm putting a name called grid since we are storing the information in grid. Grid is a control element that represents the data in a tabular view. It's a test grid. Okay, click OK. Okay, in this test grid, I don't have anything, so I'm adding a new item, a web form. I just put form 1. So in this form, go to design part. I'm adding a grid in this design form. This grid you can find in data tools. Okay. Data tools, grid view. Double click on grid and you will achieve this. It will be shown on your web form. Okay. Now the information what I am trying to put is the database which is been created. The information in the database must get stored in this grid view. This is my idea. Okay, so to do so, double click on form load, double click on form. On form load, it should include the database. So before it include the database, we must have the provider name using system dot data dot. Let's take SQL client first, SQL client, then later we'll also look at a quick look at other providers also using, I'm also including system dot data, semicolon. This SQL client will have their classes SQL connection, SQL command, and SQL data reader. The different classes provided in SQL client as we have seen in the previous class. So now let's make a SQL connection. SQL, since I have added its namespace, its constructor class, we will get all things quickly. So make a connection, new .sql connection. In this connection, we have to include the string here. We have to include the string. This connection will hold, as you can see, it will overload the instance. Initialize new instance. We have to include the database details, okay, where the actual string is, and then we must create a command, SQL command, SQL command, which will help in taking the query. I'll give the object name as command itself, and here we will write the query. In this we have to include the query and also the connection string and also the object of the connection string. Let's take query B, select star from, we haven't created any database. Let's take a database name as demo data, demo underscore data. Okay, I'll show you how to create a database also. Now let's create a database first. Here I have different databases already been created: DemoDB, test data, testDB. I'll make use of one of the databases, but I'll show you how to create a database. To create a database, we must go to Server Explorer. Server Explorer, where you can see, if you don't have the Server Explorer in your pen, you can go to View folder and search for Server Explorer. Okay, so in this Server Explorer, you will have data connections. Okay, go to data connections, right click your mouse and create a new SQL Server database. Click on create new SQL Server database. When we are clicking on this, it will open a new wizard asking for the server name. The server name you have to enter. Here my server name is hepzibah/SQL Express. After entering the server name, let this Windows authentication be checked, and here we have to give new database name. Okay, what I have checked for new database name, let it be just test demo. Okay, then click on OK. Here you can see the test demo which has been updated in our data connections. Now when we are clicking on this, you can see different things: database design, table view, stored procedures, functions, synonyms, types, and assemblies. Go to tables and add new table. We don't have column names in it, so here we can add column names. For example, I'm including name, it's of type character, and subject, that is also of type character. Okay, then now save it. Control S. Put a name. I think I have included a name as data underscore details. Okay, click OK, and this will be updated in your Server Explorer. See, data underscore details. Now if we click on this, you can see name and subject columns. Here we don't have information in this, so let's add data in it. Okay, let's add new query. Show table data. We don't have any data in the table, but it will show us with null in each column. So let's fill the data. I'm just entering my name, subject, .NET, then another name, and then another name, as C. Okay, now save it. Okay, it's there in my, it's there. Okay, let's go to the program. Here I have created, name is demo underscore, what is the name I have given? Let's change the name data underscore details. Here the table name is data underscore details. Data underscore details. Okay. Now after making a command, after writing a SQL query, after writing the query, we must write the reader. Okay, we have to open the connection. Con dot open. Okay, the connection must be opened so that we can retrieve the data or put update data. Here we are retrieving so that we can retrieve the data. And then after that, after opening the query, we have to make data reader. We have to give data reader because SQL client will take data reader. This will use to retrieve the data in read-only format. Okay, I'm giving the object as reader. Okay, this reader will take the command and execute reader. Okay, execute reader. Here it will, this execute reader is the one which it is telling the object to fill the object of data reader. SQL reader will execute the query what we have given, and the information which is being obtained is being sent to the object of data reader, that is nothing but reader. Okay, so now after this, the information which is in reader must be put in the grid, that is our actual motto. Okay, grid view. Okay, grid view dot, so here data source is the one which will help in binding the data. Okay, I'll find data source here. Okay, data source, this is the one which will help in binding this, the information which is there in reader. Okay, then bind, we have to bind grid, what it has to bind to, which to grid, it has to get binded up. Data must be binded, data bind. Okay, it will bind the data to the grid control. This will help in binding the data to grid control. Okay, data source will help in binding the data from the reader. From the reader, it will get the data from the reader, and the information it will get binded to the, this with the data bind. It will, the data will get binded to the control. Okay, now after this we have to close the connection, because if the connection is not get closed, there is a chance to copy the information, or transactions must be done. Transactions will be happened if the connection is not closed. Maybe the intruder will get the information. If uh, uh, if we forget to close the connection, we can also use using command here. Using, using command, so that we don't have any kind of problems like this. open and close problems. Okay, so now here we have to include one small thing we have to do is here we have to include the string where our database is, the location of the database. The connection string must be included in connection. So to get the connection string, go to the Server Explorer and the actual test demo. Click on the test demo, and in properties, go to the properties in your right side pane. Properties, you will find connection string there. Copy the string, I'll put this string in separately. Okay, it's better to keep the string separately. Paste it. So I pasted it. Before the string, just include @ symbol so that it will identify that it is the string, it is a connection string, and data source is the string which will tell where the location is, where the database is, and this is the name of the database created, and with the help of security and pooling we are connecting the database. Okay, let's just try this code whether it is working or not. In this connection, I forgot to put the string command, string object. Con object is not getting identified, so I'll not using presently. Later I'll use this using, and so okay, now hope this will run. I'm debugging the program and I'm trying to execute this to get the information in the grid. The information what we wrote in the table must be loaded in the grid. Yes, the information what we have written has been showing in the grid. Name, subject, name of the lecturer, and the subjects they teach. Okay, this is how the ADO.NET SQL provider will work. Similarly, all other providers will make the same thing, same process is for all other providers also. But for every provider, we have connection and command are in common, but for every provider, the provider name is the prefix. We have to change the name of the prefix. See, for example, I'm including a provider. Okay, sorry, I have not stopped debugging of the program. Okay, so here I'm including one more provider using system dot data dot. We have different providers: OLADB, ODBC. Okay, I'm including OLADB semicolon. Okay, so when I'm including OLADB, okay, now let's check OLADB. See here, if we can observe, we have command builder connection, we have OLADB connection, data adapter, data reader, enumerator, and different classes in OLADB. One thing is we just have to include its required. We have to import the required classes. Okay. Okay, now this is how data grid view will help in getting the information from a database and storing it in a data grid view. This is a kind of typed data set. Okay, this is a kind of typed data set. There are two different types in a data set. Data set is of untyped data and also typed one. Typed dataset is the one which has a proper table and data type and everything, whereas untyped dataset which doesn't have a proper table. Okay, just a kind of field names will be there and data will be there, and the information what we are giving in the controls will be copied into the grid, but it will not get stored in any of the tables. That is called an untyped data set. Let's see an example of untyped data set also. uh, let's go to new project. For untyped dataset, I am taking Windows as an example. Even this grid view we can use in any of the things applications. Either it can be Windows or it can be web. Okay, let's now take a look at Windows. Here I'm changing the name as test grid again. Uh, test grid 2, so that I don't have any kind of errors. Okay, it's already there. Yes. Okay, so now here I have a form. All these things I'm removing. Okay, let's make your form more convenient for you, and in this form I'm including a data grid. Okay, and in this grid I don't have any columns, so I'm adding a column saying name, header text as name, add, and column 2 header text will be class, add. Okay, enough. That's all for today. And I'm also including a button, two buttons actually. I'll include two buttons. Let me put this grid here, and also two labels. And to these labels I'll include two text boxes. What my intention is, the information which I am typing in these text boxes must get added up in this grid. It must be shown in the grid view. Information which is being stored, which is being entered in these form. This is a kind of form, I can say, a simple form. Okay, now let's change the values of these labels and text boxes, everything. The text box 1, let the text box 1 be name as I have given in the grid, and let the text box 2 be class, and this button, let the button be add button, and this is delete button. Okay, so now the information which I am entering in name and class must get shifted in this grid. Okay, and if I am deleting it, the information must get deleted from the grid. Okay, now let's go to add. Here data grid view dot, we have rows in it. Okay, rows must be added up. Okay, added. So what kind of rows must be, what is their text box? The information in the text box 1 dot text, and the information in the text box 2 dot text. These two informations must get updated. Let's check this out whether it's working or not. Yes, here is my form and I'm including the name, my name, and class .NET, and I'm clicking add. Yes, it's updated. The grid has been updated. And if again I'm clicking add, again it will add. And if again I click add, again it is getting added up. So if by default, if unfortunately if I click add, it's getting added up. So I don't want these many things, it's getting redundancy. So I want to delete the name, let's see, which is being redundant. So delete, but I have not created anything in delete. So let's go back to the program. Form, then delete button. Okay. Data grid view dot rows dot remove, remove and. Okay, we must use remove add, but before we remove it, we should see that whether the data grid is having any data or not. So for that we need to use if data grid view dot the rows, all the selected rows, we have a selected rows column is there, selected rows dot count. Okay, the total count is greater than 0, then we will perform this delete operation, else it should, if nothing is there, else it should print a message saying that no rows selected. Message box dot show. Message box dot show will show me that, tell me that no rows selected. No rows selected. Okay. Okay, now. So the information what we are trying to check repeatedly, it must get repeated up, right? The removing part must be done repeatedly. Sometimes some people will try to do it again and again. So we have to check it, put it in a loop. Okay, we just cannot leave it like that in if statement. It must be kept in a loop. Okay, so here the count, I'm just saying that I is equal to count. Okay, count minus 1 semicolon, and I'm giving the condition okay, reduce. So here in this should give the index value. Okay, just index value is enough to delete. Okay. So for index value, I need again the selected rows. I'm just copying it and I'm putting it and this dot index. Okay, so and sometimes when we are trying this, there is a chance to get exception. So better I put it in try block and catch also must be kept. That is the reason why it is showing red here. Catch block after try block, catch block should be there, right? Okay, catch, open and close bracket. Now it seems that everything is done. Let's check whether it will delete or not. Okay, okay, here I'm entering the data once again, .NET, and I'm trying to add it twice and thrice. Okay, now I'm trying to delete it and it is giving no rows selected. Yes, I have not selected any of the rows, right? Okay, now I have selected one. Yes, it is getting deleted. One more time, no rows selected. Yes, I didn't selected anything. Okay, both the rows are selected. Okay, now again deleted. Both the rows are selected. Yes. Okay, fine. This is how untyped data set will work. The previous example is for typed data set and this example is for untyped data set, and getting connection with the controls. Data grid is being connected to a text box control, and also this is an example for data grid connecting to a control, and the previous example is for connection string, command string, and data reader string, how to make a connection with the provider. Okay, so here ends our class. Hope you all understood. If you don't understand, repeatedly watch the video. Thank you.